About a week ago, as of recording this, I asked you guys for your Transformers hot takes and unpopular opinions on TikTok and YouTube. And so the first one I would like to take a look at is really two of them combined. It is Age of Extinction was okay, and Age of Extinction was a good movie, but it was dragged down by The Last Knight. And I do agree with both of these to a certain extent that Age of Extinction was okay, but so what I think is the reason that Age of Extinction is viewed so badly nowadays is because Age of Extinction was meant to set up questions that needed answers, only for The Last Knight to come in and just kind of wreck all of that Age of Extinction was trying to set up. I feel like if we had gotten a better movie after Age of Extinction, then people would look back at Age of Extinction a lot more fondly. And the next unpopular opinion I want to take a look at says Jazz dying in the 2007 movie was unnecessary because his death, we got less of Jazz in media. I do agree with this. I want Jazz in more movies, especially, we got to see, he was on screen a few minutes in Transformers 1, but I really do think that killing him off in the 2007 movie has set off a chain reaction to where he is no longer in any shows or movies. And in my opinion, Jazz does actually have one of the best Bayverse designs. I still want his 2007 Toy Studio Series toy, but I haven't been able to find him for a good price, and there's rumors of him either getting a new figure or getting re-released next year, so we'll see how that goes. And overall, Jazz is one of my favorite characters, so I do wish they would bring him back in more movies. And the next one, which is the one that I probably disagree with the most, is 2015 RID wasn't actually that bad, and the hate it gets isn't actually as justified as people make it out to be. I fully disagree with this one with all of my heart. Robots in Disguise 2015 was not just a bad sequel to Transformers Prime, one of my favorite Transformers shows. It was just a bad cartoon in general. Everything was boring, bland, the animation looked horrible, and overall that series sucked so bad, me personally, I consider it just not canon to Transformers Prime. And it overall makes the show that it was continuing from look even worse, so that's why I just consider it to be not canon. And I know there is some debate on whether the line continuity is actually technically aligned, but in my mind, I do think that War and Fall of Cybertron come before Transformers Prime. And then, in Robots in Disguise, they had Grimlock and Sideswipe, who were characters already in Fall of Cybertron, so it doesn't quite make sense if you look at it that way. But in my mind, how I think of the line continuity is Transformers War and Fall of Cybertron, then Transformers Prime, and Robots in Disguise is just some weird sequel spin-off show that I don't count as canon. And next up is another Transformers Prime related one, is that it's not really that much of a hot take. Transformers Prime is the best show and deserved at least another season. I do agree with that. See, the thing with Transformers Prime, it is still one of my favorite Transformers shows, but Season 2 just kind of feels like almost every episode is filler up until the end, and the show really just starts to get good at the beginning of Season 3, but then it ends. So I really wish that they had maybe given it another season, because Season 3 was just like fantastic. But yeah, no, it 100% deserved another season. That's a good take right there. And so these next few are going to be more character focused. This one says Beachcomber, Thundercracker, and Hot Rod are the best Transformers they are. No, depends on what continuity you're looking at. Because I really did like Thundercracker in the Skybound comics, and same thing with Beachcomber. He was good in the Skybound comics, but I don't know what specific continuity he's looking at. And Hot Rod should not even be in the debate of best Transformers ever. Just on the premises of he was introduced to replace Optimus Prime at 86. Just based off that, he should not be in the running for best Transformer in any sense of the way at all. And then the next one, again, like I said, another character-focused one. It's hot take, Shockwave is the best character around all timelines. I do agree that Shockwave, he is a pretty good character. I really do like his design. He really, almost in all continuities, has a good design. I don't think there's one where he has, like, a bad design, per se. So, Shockwave may not be my favorite character, but I do understand where this guy's coming from. Alright, so up next, we have Cyberburst was actually good. Now, I can see where you're coming from, but I heavily disagree. I feel like the first 2 seasons of Cyberverse were alright, especially at the time where I think there wasn't much stuff coming out. But Cyberverse was alright. It was okay. It wasn't like horrendous like some people were treating it. I know most people wrote it off as dumb kid show, but I watched the first 3 seasons. I thought it was alright. After season 3, it just started to fall apart. But I do understand where he's coming from on this one. I do think Cyberverse was actually a pretty okay show. And so this next one is the first toy related one on this list. I was expecting it more than just this one, but you know, it says Combiner Wars figures aren't even that bad. I agree, but it was kind of, at the time, we kind of went from peak, like, figure design wise, we kind of went from fantastic figures, and just Combiner Wars kind of just like lowered that standard so much. I remember I enjoyed the Combiner War figures whenever they coming out. I didn't get many, but I did get a few, and I really wanted Devastator. But so I see where he's coming from, but I don't completely agree. Yeah, I'm kind of iffy on this one. But I do agree on the basis of Combiner Wars isn't as bad as some people make it out to be. So the next one I'm going to look at it says, in the aligned continuity, Megatron was right. Now, I'm just assuming he means aligned continuity as War for Cybertron games in Prime, like I've said before. I do agree. That probably, War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron Megatron are probably one of the my favorite Megatrons we've ever gotten. Same thing with Transformers Prime. They are some of my favorite Megatrons, but obviously he was not completely right. No Megatron was completely right. There might be an argument for Transformers 1 Megatron being somewhat right, but aligned continuity Megatron wasn't 100% right, if that's what they mean. But yeah, no, he was right in some ways. And so the next one says, in recent years, one hot take is that figures shouldn't be hated just by how they are shown in Hasbro's stock photography. It should be based on personal experience. Why decide to hate on something based off a couple of pictures? I agree with this to an extent, because some of the Hasbro stock photography figures just look like they make the figure sometimes look worse than it actually is. I remember back during Kingdom, I think it was, where some of the stock photography photos looked horrible, but then we got the figures and they were actually pretty okay. So I agree with this one somewhat, but also you still can tell a lot about a figure from the stock photography photos. And this wouldn't really be a problem if they just wouldn't keep on getting leaked. So that too, most of the time the stock photography gets leaked before the figure gets announced. So that too, but I agree, basically. And next up we have, it's entirely your opinion. Might be a wrong opinion, but it's yours. And here we go. I have saved the best for last. This person says, I might just need to rewatch it again, but I did not really care for Transformers Prime. I don't really find any of the characters interesting, and I'd rather watch Beast Machines again. No one likes Beast Machines. It amazes me that someone would bring Beast Machines in any conversation to do with Transformers Prime. I can understand why some people just don't like Transformers Prime, because like I said before, Season 2 kind of just feels like mostly filler side quests. But to bring up Beast Machines in the same, I'm speechless. That should have never even that should never have even been a thought that Beast Machines was better than Transformers Prime. Beast Machines, I could barely finish that show. It was so bad. Now, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but that show was awful. And so that was all the Transformers hot takes we had today. Now, I might do a part 2 if the original video gets a lot of comments, and if you would like to share your hot takes down in this video, if I get enough, maybe I'll do a part 2, maybe I won't. But that's all for today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.